9-3. It does feel good, man. Victory Monday, victory formation, right?
Hey man, it was a hell of a win, man. I'll tell you what. Jerry.
Stone, Whiskey Myers, and lifted trucks with mud on the tires, and I'm back.
Hey,
Hey
man.
man, we had a hell of a win, baby. Hey, and guess what? Your boy Stephen A. Smith is still quiet. If you saw first take, he was still quiet, man. I
Huh?
think Jerry. I don't know if you saw it or not. He's converted all of ESPN to
Okay.
Cowboy fans.
Yeah. You know what? I think he has. I think he's actually alienated. In fact, on Get Up, right? I believe I send you the graph, right? And it says right now the team in the NFC East with the highest probability to make it to the Super Bowl was actually the Dallas Cowboys at 50%. And that's coming from ESPN Analytics. And then it was the Philadelphia Eagles at 30%. And I believe it was the Vikings at 8%. So dang, what a time to be a Cowboy fan. So I'll tell you this. If you jumped off the train, for whatever reason, get back on, man. Get back on. Victory Monday, it's overreaction Monday, right?
Tell him we'll forgive him, man. We'll bring you back in open arms, baby. In open arms, we'll bring you back. But hey, so this is the thing. Are you worried about anything?
Man, there's a couple of things out there, man, that have a lot of people worried, right? I mean, the biggest thing is that there's still a narrative out there, right? And that's that we have that slow start. We're still looking for that Chicago Bears start. What do you think, man? I mean, is that something that can you see where people are bringing these worries to us?
When you have a defense like this, I don't think you have to worry, Jerry.
Hey, man,
This defense played good, man. I do believe in the Cowboys defense, but at a certain point, the last cast, I was like, man, I don't know. But man, I don't know if it was, I don't know if the football gods heard me and they said, nah, buddy, nah, that's not how it works. And they showed up and showed out, man, for real.
I will say this, man, they made me look real good, man, because I
They
mean,
did.
I think when I mean we're trying to go through our bowl predictions, and I was like, man, you know what? Oh no, you put me on the spot. You're like, is the 49ers better than the Cowboys? 49ers defense better than the Cowboys defense? And I said, you know what? They're going to use today as a statement game. And wow, they really answered the bell because 33 points alone in the fourth quarter, right? I mean, there's so much to talk about, right? So let's get right into it. I know Harvey, you can't hear it here, but you can hear it on TikTok, which is awesome because that means that you can hear it obviously with the with our streaming service. Ramiro, first off, still worried if it wasn't for the fourth quarter collapse by the Colts, it would have been a closer game. Man, Ram, come on, give us a little bit more room than that, man. Cowboys secondary is perhaps the best in the NFL. Ooh, we're gonna talk about that. We do need to talk about that, right? Because we actually have some we have a little bit of hey, you called it. You called it. 3 interceptions. You did, man. That was a bold take, and man, we were trying to figure out who we're like, man, who called these, right? Because we wrote those down and whatnot. So
Yeah, he called it, man, for sure, man. I was like, I thought back, I was like, who called it? I think the Will called it.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
man, that was a good call, man.
It was a good call,
Hey,
man.
he's gonna have to be on the kickoff shows for bold predictions from now on, man. That's
Hey,
just hey,
we will invite you, and you can go ahead and call in and just give us, you be able to talk. Ram's done it before. Hey, anybody that joins this stream, joins our YouTube right now, as you can actually call me, and we'll put you on, and we'll plug you in. You can put in your 2 cents, man. So just know that by just hitting the subscription button, not only are you in the cap giveaway, the True Brand cap giveaway, but you'll also be a part of the Discord. So really appreciate it. Hey, thank you all who are tuning in on the actual TikTok live. Like we said, we're live on TikTok too. I know it doesn't look as good as it looks here on YouTube and Facebook, but I will say this: hey, we're making it happen. I will say this: make sure you drop some likes on the TikTok. Let us know you like that, and if you have anything you want to say, I'll make sure we say it on the air. But let's get right into it. Look, we're gonna hear Dak Prescott, and if you can, Ram and or Noel, let me know if you hear this because for whatever reason, Harvey can't hear this. We're we're talking about Dak, right? They asked Dak a specific question. It's about the rookies, right, playing. So let's go.
the way that their approach is, the way that they play the game. It's impressive. A bunch of guys that have a lot of confidence in themselves, the way that their approach is, the way that they play the game.
So I mean, he kind of Noel says nothing. So there is definitely a problem. So for whatever reason, you can't hear it on here, but you could hear it. We could hear it on the TikTok for whatever reason. But anyway, so we were listening to Dak, and Dak was just basically asked him, what does he think overall about this rookie class? He says that he's very impressed by this rookie class. He said at the beginning of the year, he said that one of the rookies called him out during practice, right? I believe that's what he said. And he says that he's freaking out with the swagger that these rookies have. But it's easy to be excited. But like I said, hats off, right? Hats off to Will McClay, because if it wasn't for Will McClay, we wouldn't have these Jake Fergusons, we wouldn't have Deron Blands, we wouldn't have struck gold on Damone Clark, But I will say this, man, it's great to be optimistic of what we're seeing on the field, and hey, by all means, be happy, man. This is great. Hey, thanks for the shout out, Daniel. Can you hear me though? That's the question, right? And can you hear Harvey? But getting back to it, we got to understand as Cowboy fans, these next few games are very important for these rookies because they're going to go through some growing pains, and these are the teams that you want to go through it. Because I'll tell you this, come towards the Tennessee Titans, and of course, I know the Titans didn't complete their job this week, but come the Titans and the Eagles, those are the games that we really want. We need these rookies to really have learned from their growing pains, right? So that's the thing, is we can't really have too much high of the expectation, but we just gotta be careful and not get too ahead of ourselves. I know it's exciting times, though. I will tell you that much right now. Speaking of, did you want to add anything about that, Arby?
Yeah, so it's crazy to think, right? Because you got to put in perspective. We're just watching the Cowboys play all day, right? But think about this. Think about the rookie class, man. We got Deron Bland playing nickel. Look at what he did yesterday. Look at what Tyler Smith has done. Look at Ferguson. Look at Hendershot. Like, these guys are making a difference, and you know what I'm saying? And Malik Davis, like, he's pretty good, man.
They all look good, man.
I mean, this is impressive. We have a great foundation. I don't think we have to worry about anything. I'm telling you, I think Malik Davis can play. I honestly think he can play in the NFL consistently, but you just got to give an opportunity. But man, I like how the future is going. We can, I guess we can put the headstone for the Rams for the next 2 or 3 years because we don't want that business. We got to build through the draft, man.
Daniel Guyona, Pollard is a beast. Yes, he is. And one thing that let's enjoy this season, man, because this season has truly been one of those seasons that it looked like we didn't. It looked like that was it. It was a chalk season. It was it for us. The Cowboys were in the trash. Dak went down, but man, thank you, Cooper, for doing what you did. Diana, Pierce sure did find the hole. But getting back to it, right? We were talking about Pollard, right? Let's not get it too ahead because I understand a lot of people are asking us, are we going to be able to keep him? And it's like, hey man, let's enjoy the rest of the season.
Yeah.
It was fun to see Dak and Zeke with the whole kettlebell and whatnot. But we lost Anthony Brown, our corner. And I think Noel talked about that too, right? He was saying that, we got to give it hands out to the defensive back group. Well, yeah, because he's talking about safeties and the corners. But we lost another corner, right? We lost Jordan Lewis earlier, I think, with an ACL injury. But yesterday we lost Anthony Brown with an actual torn Achilles tendon, which is horrible, man, because I believe this is his last year on the Cowboy contract that we had him. For the most part, yeah, we did see him get, he was getting worked on, especially by the rookie wide receiver that the Colts have, Alec Pierce. But getting back on subject, Kendall Sheffield. Cowboys actually have Kendall Sheffield. So for those that are wondering, like, oh, what are the Cowboys going to do at corner? We need to do this. I from what we've seen, Kendall Sheffield, he was a draft pick from Dan Quinn during his time with the Atlanta Falcons. Obviously, he didn't fit schematically for what they were trying to do. And then, of course, this year he was waived and he was claimed by the Houston Texans. But then I guess he didn't fit in their scheme. And of course, why not bring him into the scheme that he knows well when he came into the NFL? Because he was actually, what was it, fourth round, ninth pick overall in the fourth round. And I
Yep.
don't know, do you have a little bit of a bio on him?
Yeah, so obviously he played in Alabama, then transferred to Ohio State. But the biggest thing was his strengths, right? He was an explosive athlete with tremendous speed, athletic traits, and the biggest one, and you brought it up, Jerry, can stay hip to hip with the vertical burners, right? So I watched a little bit of highlights on him, and you can definitely see that. When he stays on somebody, he stays with them through the whole route, which is pretty amazing. And he's not as handsy as some of these corners get. So swats aggressively. Some weaknesses that he does have, his play does tend to go game to game, overextends itself sometimes, and his ball skills are kind of below average. So you won't see him get a lot of picks. So that's pretty much it. He's also 5'10, so sometimes he allows receivers to get over him and catch the ball. So that's some issue he's had. But I think at the end of the day, Dan Quinn brought him in because he knows the scheme. So he can play fast right away. He doesn't have to worry about, oh, what does this mean? What does that mean? What's my responsibility? So I think him coming in, knowing the system, is going to be able to let him play faster than some other corner coming in that doesn't know the system.
Yeah, I will add, a lot of his tape, he was matched up with Michael Thomas, especially in the slot, man. So
Yeah.
it's crazy. I mean, Michael Thomas at that time, back in 2019, Michael Thomas was the best wide receiver in the league. Now, I mean, I understand Michael Thomas is not what he is, but when he was what he was, this guy had to line up against him. And you know what? He brought it to Michael Thomas every single time he got matched up with him. At 5'10, 5'11, I don't know. It's right there. He's just below 6 foot. Not the ideal, but from what we saw, 4.36, he runs a quick 40. I think he was a 5-star recruit out of high school. Like you said, he has a very unique skill set, and that's that he can stay, like you said, at the hip pocket. So obviously, you don't have to wait because he's not a rookie. Number one, number two, he's been in the system, so that's good. So we got to be patient with this, but we can't. It's not a time to panic because I think yesterday we were talking about, hey, maybe they should consider moving Israel Makuma, right, who's playing safety, into the corner spot because of his ball skills. And then we were questioning, can Deron play outside? Well, you know what? I think the plan is to see, test. Go ahead and put Kelvin Joseph. If he doesn't work out, put Deron Bland. If he doesn't work out, you got Sheffield, who's been in this thing. So right now, the one thing that we've learned is that Dan Quinn can make some adjustments. He's brought this defense. I mean, he's made this defense what it is today. I mean, I've heard people go crazy and make some crazy comparisons to the 2001. What was it? The 2001 Baltimore Ravens defense, which I don't know. I'm not ready to put them there yet. You know what I mean? So it is what it is, man. But I will say this. Hey, man, I think that the Cowboys have done a tremendous job making sure that the Cowboys have the players they need. Ramiro, Tolbert will be better next year. And you know what? I think that me and Harvey were actually talking about that specifically, right? We were saying, I think with Tolbert, I think he's kind of more in that. Well, kind of what we saw them do in the preseason. They tried him out at all right at the slot, the outside. So they kind of gave him a kind of like that CD Lamb role. But with him, I see him more of that Michael Gallup type of progression. So if anything, I say let's be a little bit patient with Tolbert. I mean, he's still a rookie. He's a third rounder. What is it? He didn't come from like an actual D1 school either. Well, from a big time school. So, I will say this, Tolbert, obviously, if we do get OBJ, I would hope Tolbert is sticking to OBJ, to CeeDee Lamb, to Michael Gallup, so he can progress and he can get better at his game and then we can start counting on him. But I mean, we tomorrow we're gonna have a breakdown. We're gonna go ahead and just double check. We're gonna check that the Cowboys make a mistake with Tolbert, right? Because that's a good question, man. Tomorrow we'll have a complete breakdown on Tolbert if we get the breaking news about OBJ, because I think this is gonna bleed out a little bit longer than what we think. I don't think we're gonna get a decision tonight, even though right now, let's go ahead and just transition. OBJ came into town. He met with the Cowboys brass. I think the plan was he was going to have dinner with Dak and the recruiting course, and of course it was Dak, and of course the other thing was Dak was gonna they were gonna go to an actual game, right? They're gonna go to a Mavericks game, so we'll see, man. We'll see if that's enough. But I think we won't find out probably to the middle of the actual week. Noel, Cowboys Pro Bowl left tackle Tyron Smith set to return to practice, and if we add OBJ, forget about it. And I'm pretty sure that's the way exactly how he sounds. Forget about it, right? That's a valid thing. OBJ has 2 days with Dallas. Whew. I think that's all you need, man, to be convinced to join the Cowboys. Hey, but let's go ahead and point that out, man, because we talked about it briefly yesterday, Harvey, right? We talked about how Jason Peters played left tackle, and we talked about how Tyler Smith, they put him in at left guard, and it looks like they're getting him ready. And like Noel just said, hey, man, they activated Tyron Smith, man. And from what I've seen is that they're gonna bring him back into practice this week, and they're gonna go ahead and try to see if he's ready to go against the Houston Texans. That's exciting, man. I saw him on the sideline. We all saw him on the sideline. Obviously, he looked like he was anxious to get out there. I mean, he just looked determined. He looked focused, you know. What do you think, Harvey?
I don't know, man. I think just watching him on the sideline, he looked good. He looked like he was fit and ready to go, man. I think he's excited as well. You got to see, because to me, I thought if he got hurt again, he's probably going to retire, and he hasn't. Which tells you, man, he's like, I really haven't played. And the way he's watching this team play right now, like being a football player, man, you got to be anxious and excited to play with this team. He hasn't even played with them. And imagine if he goes out on the football field and dominates. I still think he's a top 5 left tackle. Maybe not number 1, but he's still top 5. And when he comes, man, he's a little bit more versatile, just like that Peters is a little. So imagine him and Tyler moving together, that pile, man. It could be interesting, man. But we'll see. We'll see what he actually has. I'm sure they'll move him along really slow and ramp up the pace later on during the season. So hopefully he looks good, man.
Man, I'll tell you this much right now. Tyler Smith looked good, man. I mean, we could see him on that Tony Pollard run, and he was down the field with Tony Pollard. I will say this, man. If anything, Tyler Smith looked like he could be that all perennial left guard that the Cowboys have not had for a couple of years. And like you said, if Tyron Smith comes back strong and finishes this season strong, watch out, man. Our rush attack is going to get only better, because we faced off against a very tough Colts defense. They were actually ranked 5th against the run. And guess what? The Dallas Cowboys went in there and they actually had 200 yards rushing. It was combined, right? I think Zeke had 77 yards rushing, and I believe Pollard had 90 some yards. I believe it was 91 to be exact. And of course, we saw CeeDee Lamb. What do you think of CeeDee Lamb? I mean, he looked like he got going on those.
It looks like he's starting to become the receiver everybody thought it was going to be. I think I like the fact, because you got to remember, they left CeeDee Lamb by himself.
You did.
Now they're starting to move him around, so nobody can. If you're going to follow him, that means you're man up. You're man up, but they're not following him. So as you see, he transitions over to the other side of the field. He's basically, they're playing on zone or whatever the case may be, and he's exploiting everybody, man. I like the fact that Kellen Moore, I don't know if it's Kellen Moore or Mike McCarthy, either one, I'll take it. They're moving CeeDee Lamb around so he's not stationary, and that's letting them know what coverage they're in and if they're actually following him around. So I like what they're doing, man.
Me too. And you know what? Just to kind of answer all those naysayers about CeeDee Lamb, when when the opposing defense has 3 defenders on your wide receiver, that tells you he is a number 1. And you know what? He's literally taking up the whole entire freaking I mean, the whole defense is covering CD Lamb. So it just shows you. But I'll tell you this much right now, what we're seeing is a yak monster. Exactly what we saw at OU, right? And when I say OU, I'm talking about Oklahoma and Ohio State. That's exactly what he was doing at Oklahoma. He's a danger. Once he gets that ball in his hands, he starts making moves. He's ready to go, man. And that's what I like, man. It's exciting to see him. And I think this next few games, they're going to allow him to get more and more. Like I said it, Devontae Adams is a freaking beast at wide receiver, but it took him 3 freaking seasons to get going. And you know what? CeeDee Lamb's right there, man. He's right there on that same route. And if anything, we got to be patient with CeeDee Lamb. CeeDee Lamb has not had Dak like the majority of these wide receivers that are coming out into the league. I mean, the Cowboys have lost Dak. What was it? 2 out of these last 3 years, which is exactly what CeeDee Lamb has been with the Cowboys. So it's only time, man. Gallup played sick. Can you imagine him at 100%? I mean, the week before, right, with the Giants, I mean, he looked good, but yeah, you're right. He was sick. I think he was actually listed as questionable, but
yeah, he was. He had that illness going around,
but he did look really good in this game. So yeah, I'm with you, man. I'm excited for what we have in store. I think, like you said, just to kind of round out what we've talked about so far, this rookie class is phenomenal. They're all playing. They all play a role on this Cowboys, team. But we got to be patient. There's going to be some growing pains because it's crazy. Deron Bland coming away with 2 picks. It just shows you his upside, which is great. But like I said, there's going to be some growing pains, as there is with Damone Clark. I think he was the one who started the whole ripple effect. But look at the way he went for the tackle. He went for the tackle first, and then he punched the ball out, which is awesome. That's discipline, right? Because if he tries to punch the ball out, and let's say he misses it, it's a missed tackle, and now you're talking about momentum not even shifting for the Cowboys in any which way. But hey, let's get those likes up on TikTok. Come on, man. Trying hard here for you, man. I'm even sweating. But anyways, are you worried the Dallas doesn't take deep shots early to back up the position on the D? Damn, Harvey, you've been talking about this for 2 weeks now, man.
I'm telling you, man.
We need to highlight this because I'll tell you this, the thing about the Cowboy Cast is that, man, when you listen to us, we are literally weeks ahead of the actual Cowboys content creators, man, on the subject we talk about. Harvey, you've been talking about this for, I think, a week and a half, almost 2?
Yep. Yeah, man. I think, look, regardless of what the teams play, right, you have to try to take a shot down the field. What that does is it puts those safeties on their heels. Every once in a while, you got to take deep shots because let's be honest, as a safety, when you're like, oh my God, you take a surprise deep shot from the beginning, you're gonna have that in the back of your head and say, you know what, I need to play a little bit more deeper because they might throw one on me and I got to be prepared. Well, when you do that, what happens is it opens up the middle of the field and the underneath. So you have to let the safeties know that you're not afraid to take deep shots, regardless if it works or not. It could be an overthrow ball or whatever, but you have to take the deep shots to make them, feel the pain or feel the true deepness of what you got. Because if not, they're just going to play everything down underneath, and you're not going to be able to do anything. You're going to play dink and dunk. But that's what I'm saying, man. We need to take deep shots early.
It's my quarterback.
Just so you know, TikTok, right? Because we're live on TikTok right now. We got a few people watching, but just so you know, for those that are watching on TikTok, Javier Zuniga, I call him Harvey. He was my quarterback in high school. Hey, and he wasn't just an average quarterback. No, you're talking about starting varsity quarterback for many years. So when he says you need to take a shot down the field, he knows what he's talking about. He played quarterback at the highest level in of course in high school, right? But now he's obviously he's in the military. He's in the military. He's been there. Harvey, you can say how long you've been a part of the military. Thank you for your service, right? Of course. But you know what I mean? People they need to understand where this is coming from. This is coming from somebody who played quarterback, understands the position. I just want to clear that up on TikTok because You know, a lot of people here on Facebook and of course YouTube, they know you a little bit, but on TikTok you're still relatively new.
That's true.
So I just wanted to clear that up. But yeah, man, I see the approach. I was telling you, I think me and you we weren't really agreeing on it, right? Because I believe we heard Kellen Moore last week, and he was saying how about Dak being aggressive with the what the defense gives him, and you said no, man. You need to dictate them. You need to get these safeties on their heels because if you do that, shoot, now they have to watch out for what what you're doing, and now you're gonna have safety second guessing themselves. Now you can run all over them and you can pass all over them, which makes sense. But I was saying, hey, we need to just stick to the run and get the ball early to our playmakers, whether it be Gallup or whether it be Gallup or whether it be CeeDee Lamb, right? So it's one of those things, man. Kendall, where you been, bro? This guy's been dodging me, man.
I don't know where Kendall's at, man. We've been asking for Kendall. I don't know what's going on.
But I love Kendall. I love, man. Keep grinding, brothers. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hey,
Always.
hey, Kendall's a friend on the show, so he'll be on. He'll be on TikTok live too, man. Let's get those likes up on TikTok, man. Because you get those likes up, then it gets further out there, man. But let's get back on it, right? And make sure if you guys are interested in getting some Patriots breakdown, make sure you go follow Kendall Whitley on his Instagram page. Kendall, can you throw your Instagram at, because obviously they'll be able to see you when you go Instagram live with your Patriots talk. So if you guys are ever interested, Kendall breaks down the Patriots like the way we break down the Cowboys, man. And Kendall knows the Cowboys just as good as we do. Kendall's just the almanac of the NFL. It's crazy,
Hey,
man.
what did Ram say about Kendall? Ram, what'd you say about Kendall? I think he said something. He's on the outside. He's a Patriots fan, but at heart, he's a Cowboy fan.
Oh yeah. Man,
He said something like that.
I almost converted Kendall one year, man. I think I had him. It was right before they drafted Mac Jones, man. I told Kendall, just come on down and break on through to the dark side, right? But we'll see, man. Kendall still, we're gonna keep him on ice. We're gonna keep him on ice, man. I tell you this, I think a Super Bowl win would help out tremendously. Anyways, so coming up ahead, right? We're gonna go ahead and go back, watch it. We're gonna break down the offense and defense and let you know what we like, what we see. Stay tuned for those that are live on TikTok. Obviously, we're gonna have some cut ups of what we talked about, and then I'm gonna try to make sure we can edit some little cut ups of here and there, and of course we'll share it on our Instagram and our Facebook, and of course our YouTube. So make sure you guys stay look out for that. But for the most part, make sure you guys are sharing this, like it, share it. Make sure you like it on the actual YouTube itself. Patriots fan with a Cowboys heart. That's
exactly what it was. That's what it was.
That's exactly what he said.
That's Kendall, man.
Kendall Whitley. He's a legend, man. He's an actual NFL almanac. So, but for the most part, and Harvey, anything else you want to add? I don't really want it to end either, but we got a game.
I think I don't know. To me, the Cowboys played very well. Don't get me wrong. It was the fourth quarter. I think Ram said it earlier. But true Cowboy fans, we always protect ourselves, man. We always have that, man. We did start off slow. We keep that whole starting off slow, man. We can't do that. In the playoffs, you cannot start slow. And so that's the only thing that worries me. It was a great win. I'm gonna enjoy it because we don't get very many. You got to enjoy it, man, when you get it. But overall, I think the defense they're stepping up. They're playing a whole different game. The only thing is, can they play for 4 quarters? Can you imagine if they played for 4 quarters?
Man, I bet you a lot of teams don't want to play us past the third quarter.
No, man. I mean, this is going to be very scary if these Cowboys get it together every quarter. Oh, my goodness. Like, we're talking about shutting down teams, but we'll see.
Kendall, my fault. Been working on my channel. I'll be on Sunday pregame. Awesome. I like that, man. If I want a Patriot fan, I'll be a Cowboy. But I will say this. Great point, Harvey, that you made right there. And just to kind of recap that, because there's been a little bit of buzz going around about our slow start. I think first quarter, the score was 10-7, and then that's when the second quarter, the Cowboys started, things started moving in our way, but not necessarily offensively, right? I believe what it was 21-13 by the half. And then of course the Colts had 6 points in the third quarter. Cowboys didn't have no points in the third quarter. And then in the fourth, no points by the Colts and 33 points by the Cowboys defense. So that's kind of what's been the worry that's been going on with the Cowboys. But in the end, I think Mike McCarthy, he understands how to get to the Super Bowl. He knows what he needs to do to win a Super Bowl. And that's where the optimism is coming from. So, in a nutshell, we will break down the actual offense tomorrow. We'll have, of course, Mike McCarthy's audios. Of course, if Kellen Moore releases his audio, we'll let you know. If OBJ signs, we're going to be the first ones to let you know, man. We're going to be. I'm pretty sure a lot of Cowboy fans are going to be screaming out their, at the top of their lungs, man. But that's it for us. TikTok, thank you so much. We love you, and keep it coming. That is it for TikTok. All right. And anything else? Anybody else? No? All right, guys. Well, that's it for us. We'll see you tomorrow about the same time. Thank you all.